We know them as a royal family, but are they more like the mafia? I'm your host Yusuf, and these are 10 scary crimes the royal family have committed. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and ring that bell so you get notified whenever we upload a new video. Anyways, let's get royal. Number 10, Prince Andrew and his terrifyingly evil crime. Britain's Prince Andrew, the second son of Queen Elizabeth II, is facing an SA lawsuit in the United States. An American woman, Virginia Giuffre, filed the lawsuit, claiming that an island-faring celebrity intimately hurt her, and British socialite Ghislaine Maxwell trafficked her to their wealthy friends. She sued Andrew in August 2021, stating that she was intimately trafficked to Prince Andrew and he SA'd her in 2001. Her lawyers submitted a photo of her with Andrew and Maxwell as evidence. However, Prince Andrew has repeatedly denied the accusations. Recently, a US judge denied a plea by Andrew to dismiss the lawsuit. The palace said that the Duke of York will continue not to undertake any public duties and is defending the case as a private citizen. In the aftermath, the royal family of Britain removed his military links and royal patronages. Number 9, Princess Anne's dangerous dogs and driving. In 2002, Princess Anne, the only daughter of Queen Elizabeth II, was found guilty of a charge under the Dangerous Dogs Act, becoming the first member of the present royal family to be convicted of a criminal offense. She pleaded guilty after it was claimed that one of her dogs, a 3-year-old English Bull Terrier called Dottie, bit 2 children as they walked in Windsor Great Park. She was fined and was subsequently ordered to pay £148 in court costs and £500 compensation to the 2 victims. However, the court had ordered Anne to keep her English Bull Terrier. She also faced a fine in 2001 when she was fined £400 for speeding in her Bentley. She admitted that she was driving at 93 miles per hour in a 70 miles per hour zone in Gloucestershire. It's kind of shocking how Princess Anne couldn't keep her dog under control. Considering she's a royal, you'd think she'd have the resources available to properly train it. Number 8, treason. Some hundreds of years ago, when the modern era courtrooms did not exist, King Charles I was charged with tyranny and treason. He was brought to trial in Westminster Hall on January 20th in 1649, after the end of the English Civil War. He was sentenced to execution on January 26th of the same year and was eventually beheaded 4 days later outside the banqueting hall in Whitehall, London. The reason for him being charged with tyranny and treason is that his supporters and Oliver Cromwell's parliamentarians fought and executed each other, resulting in the king passing away during the battles. After the king passed away, Charles was found guilty of treason and tyranny and executed. Number 7, a car crash. In 2019, Prince Philip, Queen Elizabeth II's husband, who passed away in 2021, found himself in trouble after a car crash that left a woman with a broken wrist. He did not face any charges, as a probe against him was dropped after the late Duke handed in his driving license. The incident had happened near his private Sandringham estate in eastern London. The other car involved was a Kia, and its female driver and passenger were treated in the hospital and later discharged. The police even gave Prince Philip a breathalyzer test. Norfolk police said officers were called to the Sandringham estate shortly before 3 p.m., following reports of a collision involving 2 cars. Norfolk police said, "It is forced policy to breath test drivers involved in collisions. We can confirm both drivers were breath tested and provided negative readings." Number 6, a conspiracy of theft. Former royal butler Paul Burrell was arrested for theft in January 2001 after a raid on his home led to the recovery of thousands of items police believed were taken from Diana's Kensington Palace apartment. The possessions included paintings, drawings, china, photographs, clothes, and even personal notes from the late princess to her sons. But just days into the trial, the case dramatically collapsed. It was revealed the Queen had suddenly recalled a meeting soon after Diana's passing, during which Paul had told her that he'd kept some of her possessions for safekeeping. It was later alleged the Queen intervened to stop the case after Prince Charles became concerned by what Diana's trusted aide would reveal in court. Number 5, colonialism. Beginning in Malaya, then in Kenya, Cyprus, Nyasaland, Aden, and Northern Ireland, British security forces moved through the empire and acted in the Queen's name, unleashing wide-scale detention without trial and illegal deportations. In Malaya and Kenya, they forcibly relocated hundreds of thousands of subjects into barbed wire villages. In each conflict, execution squads were deployed and populations terrorized. In Cyprus, journalists called interrogators HMTs, Her Majesty's torturers. Number 4, tampering with evidence. Beginning with her first Prime Minister Winston Churchill, the Queen's ministers not only knew of systematic British-directed violence in the empire, they also participated in its crafting, diffusion, and cover-up, which was as routinized as the violence itself. They repeatedly lied to Parliament and the media, and when decolonization was imminent, ordered the widespread removal and burning of incriminating evidence. There's no extant documentary evidence directly linking her to knowledge of systemic violence and cover-up in the empire, nor were her weekly meetings with the Prime Minister recorded. The evidence we do have suggests that she, like the public, was told any instance of brutality was an unfortunate one-off, and minor colonial officials were to blame. Number 3, the bloody decolonization. Maya Jasanoff, a professor at Coolidge University, cited the bloody insurgencies and counterinsurgencies waged in Kenya, Malaya, and Cyprus, which involved massive amounts of execution and torture and castration committed by the British. The royals were trotted out as ceremonial figures at what appeared to be peaceful transfers of power, but behind the scenes, the transfers were anything but peaceful in a number of places and anything but willing on the part of the British. All of this runs counter to the popular glistening image of the late Queen as a ruler who supported many humanitarian efforts and possessed an egalitarian nature. Number 2, saying one thing and doing another, not actually supporting Nelson Mandela. People talk about her views about apartheid, and I've heard people commenting on her enthusiasm at welcoming Nelson Mandela when he was president of the Republic of South Africa, said Jasanoff, who also noted how the British government during Elizabeth's reign rejected Rhodesia's unilateral declaration of independence, a move designed to create a white minority-ruled state in the former African colony. But these are symbolic gestures, or they were largely behind the scenes. On the ground, it looked so different from the glossy images of the White Queen on tours of exotic former colonies. Number 1. Adultery. The notorious Queen Isabella of England, daughter of King Philip IV of France, was alleged to have outed her careless sister-in-laws out of wedlock romps, which took place primarily in a Parisian tower called the Tour de Nesle. Blanche and Marguerite both admitted to adultery. Their erasure from public life was swift. The Donnay brothers were castrated, their nether regions thrown to dogs while they were still alive, before being brutally executed. The two sisters had their hair cut short and were both thrown into a dungeon. Those were 10 scary crimes the royal family had committed. Thanks for watching. Like the video if you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.